When your man is cheating, baby come wake up on him. We know we keep it a secret. Make him know say I'm me. Bun Fi Bun, get time for have fun. Left your man and come for round one. Bun Fi Bun.
What is reggae to you?
Reggae music is my life. It's my healing. It's like just bringing so much people together. It's love. It's unity. It's my root. Yeah, I love it.
To me, reggae is a lifestyle. Of course, it's a genre, but for me, it's a lifestyle. Happy place, a safe place, and the music where I can express myself the most.
Spirituality, meditation, word, sound, and power. And for me, it's the environment. It's the words that no one else can say. You can say it in the reggae music, and you know it speaks for itself. It's empowering.
How has being a reggae artist been for you in the UK?
I don't even know where to start.
It's been a hard journey. For me, I would say it's been a very hard journey. As a female in the industry, you have to have a strong back. Yeah, broad shoulders. Yeah, you gotta kind of be militant in a sense, you know. Take no prisoners as a female, because I think it's more dominantly a male industry. So you know, you got as a female, you got to stand out differently. I don't know if you two feel the same way.
Do you feel like it's more dominated over here, or you mean reggae as a whole?
I think as a whole.
Yeah, as a whole, yeah.
Yeah, as a whole.
I think over here, there may be more.
I think it might be a bit more diverse,
50-50, yeah.
but I think it's because we've got the Lovers Rock scene, and there's a lot more females in the Lovers Rock scene. So I think that's where, you know, there's that mixture, but predominantly in the industry itself, it is predominantly men. So as a female, we got to be very, very strong.
Yeah, and in terms of like, yeah, we can say that there's a lot of female artists, but in terms of like producers,
that's true.
management,
DJs, promoters,
Not that,
musicians, like it's definitely about 80% male.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's a fair way.
It definitely has.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I feel like, do you know, I feel like for me, when I first started, my answer would have been different to what it is now.
Yeah.
Because I feel like my journey at the beginning, I was quite fortunate. I had a lot of support. At the time, you would know as well, because we were in touch. Coming up to like 10 years now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. There wasn't many female artists at the forefront. So for shows, usually the only female. The men were quite protective and quite educational. Now there's a lot more. I don't think that's affected my personal experience in terms of there being more. I think it's probably improved it, to be honest. But I do think having broad shoulders has kind of come into play a lot more in the recent years as opposed to when I first started. Definitely.
I think the journey in itself is that when you're interacting with others, you know, whatever idea we've had in our own heads as females on how we want to do our music and that, when we go to that studio.
Do you know I'm laughing? Because me and Teshay met up before we got here, and we said the exact same thing. And I said to Teshay, she said, don't make me scream. I said, when you go to studio, sometimes you go in and you have a great experience. But then it's bittersweet because you always, and I know for a fact it's going to resonate with you, you always get an elder or someone in the space who is experienced and has had great
knowledge,
accolades and achievements.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have reasoning and imports, but sometimes you will have an elder tell you that they used to wave the flag for Sizzler in 1993.
Yeah.
And this is how your tone should be. So I think finding the balance is something we do.
I think I don't know if this has been the same for you, but with me, I've tried to work with different people along the years, and I found that they always try to change me. They tried to change my sound. when I started, like I was coming from the R&B scene, coming into the reggae, and obviously riffing is a thing in the R&B scene. When I went to do a tune in the reggae scene, they told me cut that out.
Just straight.
Yeah.
But then I found along the way, I found another way of still R&B-ing up the tune anyway, so it doesn't matter what they do.
Exactly.
Yeah, because again, it's the influence of all genres of music that maybe we've all grown up
And being
with.
in the UK, like, we have so much different things that are in our music anyway. That's why I even created like root soul and thing, because reggae is the roots.
Country and western was a big part to play with.
Okay,
me.
so let me ask you a question. So
Songwriting.
what is root soul? What is the definition of root soul? I think I know what it is, but what is root soul?
So beyond the music, it's being grounded and knowing who you are.
Yeah.
Being rooted within yourself and living your purpose through your soul.
I would say standing in your truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would see as standing in your truth.
Yeah.
Because people have to believe what you're saying. You know, you can say that it's raining outside, but do they believe it's raining outside? Do you understand me? It's that believing in the words that you write. And then for me, I don't know if it's the same for you, but I don't feel I write a lot of my songs. I feel it's given to me.
Yeah, the songs write you.
Yeah, I feel that I'm just a tool that is used to convey the message.
Absolutely.
But I don't believe that I've got quite a few songs where I say no, that came from a divine source, you know, and
it's a download.
Yeah.
Or songs that take like a short amount of time to write. People say, oh, how long did you do it? That's I'm like, oh, half an hour. And they're like, really? Like, do you have co-writers? And I'm like, no. Because how I write is I don't do the conventional way of having a notebook and writing down and kind of coming back to it. I will hear the rhythm first, and then whatever I tend to record and then write down so I don't forget, as opposed to write down and then freestyle. I would freestyle and then neaten up or change things around.
I used to write without rhythms, and then I started to write with rhythms, so I can't write without rhythms.
Is it?
Yeah, I find it hard now. So for me, I have to have that rhythm there. I have to fall in love with that rhythm. I have to feel like, you know, you got your quilt cover over you. Yeah, I have to be in that rhythm. Yeah. For me, I find the rhythms talk to me. I can hear certain words being said within the instrument. So I find it's easier for me to write that way. But then, as you said, not all the time I can write a song in 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 20 minutes.
Sometimes it takes 2 weeks, a month.
Sometimes all a year. Yeah. I've got some songs where I just got the chorus and the first verse. There's no second verse or nothing.
Because you might not have experienced it.
And you think this is it. You
Yeah.
haven't experienced your second verse or the bridge yet. This is it.
Yeah.
What's your writing process?
So it differs. So there's times where I'll hear a rhythm and I'm like, revising on the rhythm, and there's that, and then there's songs that I will just write, or it will come through to me, and the melody's there, and I might go to a musician and be like, okay, this is what I've got.
And that's what I find.
So you build the rhythm same time as you build the song?
Oh, that's like my whole album mostly is like, I created.
That's the old school way of doing it.
Yeah, I like that.
It's so authentic.
Maybe because I'm a control freak, I don't know.
It's your craft, you have to have control.
I like to really be involved with it.
I'm like that. I've been fortunate to work with Royal Sounds, and I can't ever walk away from
Big
them.
up Royal Sounds.
Yeah, big up Royal Sounds, because I've learned a lot working with them. Like even built my confidence in doing backing vocals for myself, without having to wait for no one else to do it for me now.
Good. Yes.
But for me, it's a joy that I can hear a rhythm and say to them, you know what, can you do something like that and give it a twist?
Right.
And then I can trust them that they know my sound, so they know what will suit my voice.
I think that's one of the best things about being a reggae artist, or reggae the genre itself, because unlike a lot of other genres or styles of music, with reggae, the end product, like the ingredients have been contributed by so many people. Although it's your cake, but you get something from the band, you get something from the producer, even sometimes the engineers. They'll be like, try that and try this. I feel like
that's really
it's
true.
it's an experience.
Yeah,
it's just writing a song in reggae is an experience for me anyway.
I agree. I actually agree with that, and I agree when you hear that end product.
You just in the studio like
like that's my song. I do that. Like
I did that, and then celebrating yourself.
I think
good.
That was the hardest part for me.
Celebrating
myself, because it's all well and good. You know, we do what we do. We go on the stage, we perform, we write our songs and everything, and people come to you and tell you how they see you. But I always felt that I couldn't smile, even though when they told me I find you good, I couldn't smile. I felt that that was egotistical. I felt that that would have been perceived as that.
Do you feel like that has something to do with the fact that reggae music is associated with being humble? And I feel like this is a part of the reason that I really am passionate about, because even let me not run before I can walk. Let me take time with this topic, because in you saying that you feel like you couldn't smile or kind of celebrate
just
yourself
in
the moment when other people are, I feel like that's one of the, I guess, downsides, depending on how you look at it, but the downsides of being a reggae artist, because sometimes you want to just say, I want
a cartwheel.
There's a vulnerability that we have.
We're supposed to celebrate our achievements.
I mean, I celebrate at home.
Right.
in private with my children. Right. But is that, you know, I mean, I can celebrate it with you lot, because we're in the same space. We're sisters in this industry. But I don't know, I just felt I wasn't meant to be like, thanks, you know, kind of thing. Yeah, like, so even when someone says something to me and I'm like, thank you, like, I don't, sometimes I feel like they don't take it genuinely, like, I appreciate their words, but I really do. But it's humbling to me. And then sometimes some of the things people say, they have me in tears, because it's like, you know what? You see, when you go through a journey, especially the industry, it's a journey. Regardless,
and
what
see it.
You have the good, you have the bad, you have the ugly in this industry. And when we stand there, and we've gone through all of that, and we stand there, and someone comes and tells us about the work that we've produced ourselves. Woo! I think those are the parts that make me realise I'm doing something right, and I can't stop.
You're doing God's work.
And that kind of just shows that maybe we're not getting it enough. Because if it's at a point where when we hear it on stage, that's the reaction, maybe that's the impact of not being celebrated enough. I understand we're talking about celebrating ourselves, but I feel like there is definitely room for us to be celebrated more.
Amongst our
and that's
peers.
not just that's not just among people that attend our shows, listen to our music, but amongst
our peers and the people within the industry, because again, I show you love, you show me love. Always. Same with you.
Always.
But it's not the same with everybody in this industry, and that's the most disheartening part. I actually came into this industry thinking that it was just all love.
Because
of
reggae.
And then I got one kick in my back. I got a kick in my back when I had to realise it's not that, it's about you as the individual and what you push out. So I try and show love to everybody, but I know I'm not gonna get that back. And then,
I think that's why it hurts so much when you do have those experiences, because you know reggae is associated with love and peace and genuine, and then when you go into an industry of like another genre, you kind of expect what you hear about industry, but reggae, you're kind of, I guess, a bit naive or a bit green to it, because you think, I'm going into my sisters and it's reggae and we're all gonna just one drop and
not everybody sees you as their sister, not everybody sees you as their brother.
Cool.
So that's the saddest part.
It's the human ego, isn't it? When people see you as competition, when you are shining, you know, like what your mum said earlier, not everyone wants to see you shine. But it's actually once people are confident within their own self, like we all have our own flavour and we're all great at what we do, and because we know that about ourselves,
that's how we can get along.
You're not competition for me. You're not competition for me. I see it as
really.
I actually have been in that, always been like that, because again, as Stushie said, me and her literally about 10 years now, we've known each other, if that. And we used to go and do a little thing every Monday called Ballad Fest, and it was mostly me and Stushie there.
But that was
but what it done was, but then what it done for me was, it showed me as a reggae artist that I could still go in any genre of music and still be Eloheema, and that won't change. And if they're not about reggae hair, they'll soon be about reggae. Because I'm gonna enlighten you to reggae. So I've done shows like with hip hop artists, dancehall artists, all different genres of artists, and I always find I'm the only reggae artist that turns up. So I'm the only one that represents for reggae.
But how does that feel?
Empowering.
Yeah.
It actually feels empowering. Like, I've just enlightened you lot to my genre of music, and I know what I'm saying, you lot are listening to.
Do you know what I feel? I find that it's quite testing. representing you as a person, because it's like, I'm a reggae artist and I've been a reggae artist. Socially, some people out there who are maybe not as familiar with me, maybe the line's a bit blurred. Is she dancehall because she's always with the dancehall crowd, or is she reggae because she sings reggae? And for me, it's very testing, because it's like you said, you feel empowered because you're the only reggae one you got to represent. You're something different, so you know, regardless, the crowd are going to respond to you immediately. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, it's not as popular as within the UK scene. I guess dancehall would be the other side of the spectrum. So reggae isn't as popular. So sometimes when you go there, you're kind of overlooked, because you've got the dancehall artists there, and their look is different to yours. They're a bit more appealing, a bit more
energy.
Yeah,
the music has more energy
and
than ours.
a lot of the shows that we get are usually in party environments.
Okay.
In party environments,
that's so interesting.
When they
more
change the
dancehall.
dynamic to artists, and you've got dancehall artists, the audience can kind of still bounce along, because it's still kind of wavelength. But then when you come on, you sound amazing. Yeah. You're representing very well, but the dynamic will change, because no one wants to go comparing.
But it's something different, though.
That's true, yeah. But like I said, it's a test.
Yeah,
it tests you.
But the biggest test is that, especially dancehall, because again, that's a whole genre within itself. But when you as a reggae artist, music can play in that dancehall, I feel that says that's a lot picture. About and I think that's a tester for me. So in that, I've kind of tested it, like giving my music to dancehall DJs. You don't normally play dancehall, innit? Yeah. But now you're gonna play Eloheema. But what it is, and then what I realise is, to be honest, we've been those girls in the dance and the rave back in the day. Don't go like you. Stop showing my age.
All right. I'm like in the dance. Don't truth in front of the camera.
I'm not gonna tell nobody.
What am I like?
I don't remember.
Cobweb in the corner.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Hitch up in the corner. Yeah. Okay.
But look how you went me straight from where I was going.
Tell the truth and shame Satan.
So being in the dance together.
Being in the dance, no, going raving.
Right. Yeah.
I was that girl. Yeah, I love dancehall, but when they play a Capleton and a Sizzler in the dance, I'm the first there. I never had locks them times there. I had weave, but I was shaking the weave the same way. Do you understand me? So that made me, that I had to remember all of these things, like they play our music, they play reggae music, but it's the type of reggae music. If it's what you're saying in your lyrics. Yeah. Is it reality? Is it truth? Can they relate
how you carry yourself?
Yeah, and can they relate to it? From they can relate to it, that song is gonna blow up in that industry right there. So even in the dance, they're gonna love it. Yeah. So I realized I don't have to limit myself, even though people in the industry try and make you feel like you have to limit yourself.
That's so interesting, because I haven't really experienced that. I'll go to dance and experience dancehall, and that's the side of myself too. But in the spaces that
I like the way she said that.
Yeah, you see.
But I guess within where I've had opportunities to perform, it's been more like in the R&B or like pop or soul spaces. And I feel so empowered to be able to give you some truth and give you some truth. Feed your soul, nourish you spiritually, emotionally. You know, it's so beautiful to see people that don't look like I and I respond to our music
the way that
so
they
organically
do.
as well. You don't need to coach them into it. They
feel it.
Yes,
and because it's real.
Yeah, and then what I started to realize as well, once upon a time I used to look for support and look at, there's no support really there, and then I realized no, I don't need that. The acknowledgements that I might be looking for is not here. And then I realised, I sat down and listened to Bob Marley do interviews, and he already stated in his own interviews, you do not get celebrated at home. You get celebrated abroad before you get celebrated at home. So
that being said, when you do get celebrated at home, you have to give thanks.
Thanks, yeah, and I do.
So we're not overlooking the family that we have here, because there's many.
so grateful for all of you.
And that's the main thing. Even when we do our own interviews with individual DJs or whoever, we always give homage to the people that's been along the journey with us. So that's still giving thanks. A lot of people forget those little things, and I think that's important. We must never forget the people that actually paved the way for us.
Trust me.
Or even gave us, like, you know, those little gems.
Like, you don't forget them, no matter how small.
Like for me, I had the beauty of working with Junior Frost and Joy Mack. You know, so for me, those were the best mentors I could have ever had in this industry over here. And I hold that dearly because they gave me so many gems that no one else was willing to give me.
That's so amazing that you had that opportunity, because I feel like there is a bit of a generation gap.
Yes. 100%
within
100%.
I do get love a lot from the elders, but I feel like they don't necessarily have time,
and they don't understand.
No,
they don't always understand.
I find,
in my experience,
because you're on the cusp.
Right.
Because you reason with the elders.
Do you have to say that?
when
She's
I
trying to make everybody know that I'm older than
what I
everybody.
mean was, I'm going to explain that because
I'm
it's a
joking.
part of the reason that's
I'm
really
joking,
important. When I say on the cusp, I mean you have the benefit of being able to go to a hootenanny and reason with the names are
Audrey Scott.
Audrey Scott,
and she's so lovely.
Do you know what I mean? And then you can also go to a postcode comes out at midnight dance and still resonate with the artists that go to those kind of environments. That's what I mean by on the cusp, and I think that's something that's not celebrated enough, because there's no blueprint to it. There's no blueprint. There's no right or wrong. So that's what I mean. Like it's hard. Like
I think what it is, what I found along the way before I met up with Junior Frost and Joy Mack was that a lot of the elders, especially a lot of some of the sisters, it's like, again, that competition thing that we've come to step on their toes. No, there's meant to be a next generation for you to pass the baton to.
Teach me what I'm
and
an ego that
right,
makes you not
and when you're first coming up in the industry, because I kind of came up from the age of 16 in it and finding my way, and it's very disheartening when you meet big artists that you've listened to as a child. That was the worst for me. Like, there's so many artists that I listened to as a child, and they inspired me.
I don't meet them.
They inspired me to be who I am today.
Your idols become your rivals. Something like that sometimes.
Right, but they're my inspiration. They're the ones that inspired me to want to write the songs that I write, sing the song the way I sing, you know. And for me, it's kind of disheartening when you meet some of them and it's like they look on you, like when they're introduced to you, they're like, I'm like,
but we're taught as women to like see each other as competition. It's not just within the music; it's in so many different realms. Like women
William Lynch syndrome.
Can I be very truthful?
Yeah, or crabs in a barrel, whatever.
Yeah, but it's again, I say it's the William Lynch syndrome because it was set that way.
Exactly.
That again, I shouldn't really be sitting here with you two because you're the younger generation to me. Do you understand me? I should be fighting against you two right now.
Whereas, but my experience has been quite different, to be honest, and I'm only gonna highlight it because I think it's only right to share both sides of the coin, and it's not to take away from anyone's experience. But if I've got an experience that's different, I think it will probably resonate with someone who watches this. But all of my positive experiences have always been with the women, like from the very beginning, be it the female DJs or the artists that are either younger than me or my kind of generation or older. It's always been positive. I know I always say Tashay, I always say Eloheema, but then there's people that aren't here. Dion Reed, Rana Brown, Aisha Loren. There's so many of us. There's so many of us that are like Claire Angel. That are, when we see each other, it's genuine love. It's not like colleague love. It's not like, hi, you right? Like,
it's a sisterly love. It's a real sisterly love.
And I feel like that's so important to highlight as well, because I'm probably gonna get just looked at sideways for saying this, but this whole female empowerment thing, I don't really
No, I agree with you.
I think it's a buzzword. If you're gonna empower people, you empower them, whether they're female or not. I understand where it came from, but I feel like now it's a bit of a buzzword.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I agree. Like people say it and they're not actually doing it.
Yeah, I just feel like you're empowering your circle. If you don't fit into that circle, you're not empowering.
Yeah, and that's it. So that's not empowering then. for me, that's not empowering. That's a half job. If I'm
You're empowering yourself.
If I'm gonna empower, that means I'm empowering everybody that I come into contact with, whether man, woman, or child.
That's unconditional love.
Yeah, and that's how I try and deal with everybody. I try and, if you're in a space where you need some advice or you want someone to talk to, I'm there as a big sis.
And you definitely have
Yeah,
them.
I'm there as a big sis for everybody. Sometimes I don't want you to calling my phone because I need a break. But it's love. No, but I still answer because I know.
You come to us sometimes when you're sad.
Yeah, I'm feeling.
And
I've had my moments where I felt disheartened in this industry. I've had moments where I've cried, I've thrown tantrums. I want to throw out the whole stereo, everything. I want to punch up every producer in this industry. Yeah, because some of them
Starpoint don't condone violence.
No, but do you know what it is? It's again, being in this industry, you have to deal with your emotions too, and that's when you start to see different parts of your emotions as well.
But it in a song.
Yeah, but again, I mean, I've worked with some people where I've gone and worked in the studio. They wanted me on their rhythm, and how many years later the song's still sitting there.
And then people are asking you,
what happened to the song? I like that song.
Yeah.
When are you putting it out? So my thing is, this is what I do now. Ask the producer. This is the producer's name. Go ask them.
That's why.
Can I ask you a question?
But I'm a cheeky one.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually very cheeky. See, once I've recorded my song, I wrote those lyrics. I'm like, when I get an extra, I'm performing that.
Yes.
I'm making the people I'm making the
well.
people know that there's something fresh
Yes.
coming out.
Yeah.
Be aware of that. So I'm forever plugging my music in that sense.
Can I ask you guys a question? And if you don't want to answer, you don't have to answer. But it's something I genuinely want to know. Where are you guys in your journey? Like, do you feel like you're? Yeah, I'm not gonna ask anymore. I'll let you guys answer. But where do you feel like you are in your journey, like right now?
I think I'm where I should have been a long time ago, but I'm happy I'm where I am now at this point in my career, and it didn't happen a lot sooner, because I wouldn't know the things that I know. I wouldn't have learned the things that I've learned in this industry, and my eyes wouldn't have been so open now how it is. Back then, I think my eyes, I had that rose glass tinted
Honeymoon phase.
Yeah. So anybody could have manipulated and thing, but now that I know where
sure
I'm at,
yourself,
I know what kind of artist I am, I know who I am, and I think that's helped me a lot. I think the journey, I'm not sorry for it.
Good.
Yeah.
Feeling inspired.
Yeah, it's quite similar in a sense because I have been singing since I was like 7. I've been doing this for a long time, and the journey has been beautiful within the pain, within the joy, the bits that I share, the bits that I don't share. And similar to Eloheema is like trusting that where I am now is exactly where I'm supposed to be, because there was times I was extremely vulnerable and got myself into situations where it wasn't healthy for myself, with this industry, and may I got signed when I was younger, God knows where I would be
Exactly,
today.
That's true though.
But it is hard in terms of like following and pursuing your dream and being abundant with that, having all of the opportunities and having the cash flow coming in, because even in like streaming and shows, people don't want to pay you properly, and they want you to do things for free.
And that's something people are too shy to talk about.
Yeah, and being self-managed.
Let's talk about dub plates.
Yeah,
because this is an
we
irritation
can.
for
Let me
me.
just finish.
Because that is part of what she's saying right there.
But we definitely want to share. And
Get it out.
But yeah, like I feel I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, but it has been a journey, and I'm excited to see what I know, where I'm gonna go with that, and just being really back in tune with God, and not letting anyone tell me what I need to do, or what songs I should sing, or how I should show up, or what I should wear, or how I should wrap my hair. Or any of these things. It's just just owning myself as a woman now. Whereas when I was like 18, I probably couldn't have done that. So I'm very grateful. Same way.
I think that's very important, especially being comfortable within yourself.
Yeah.
Because again,
very important.
Like again, I noticed, as you said, about the dress sense and how we dress.
Yeah.
Like they expect us to dress a certain way because we do reggae.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
but they
can't
forget
be sexy.
I can't be sexy. I can't get all into my sexiness and wear a pair of hot pants today and long boots. You know what?
Can I just say on that topic before you change?
I want to hear your part as well. So.
I feel like this has. I'm glad you brought it up because for me, I think my biggest test of my own strength is that exact topic. Every time I've had a show, more so the bigger shows, when they announce as a reggae singer, when I come on stage, it's like she's in high heels. I'm more than likely in a dress that's above my knees. I've got weave, I've got very bright lipstick, and I wear very high heels. I don't look like a traditional reggae singer. And for me, that has always been something I've kind of second guessed, but I've never changed it because that's how I identify myself. But I'm very glad that I didn't, because 9 times out of 10 times out of 10, by the time I come off the stage, the response kind of reassures me that I've done the right thing. Because sometimes you see people who've got the longest dreadlocks, the longest gown, the heart doesn't match. But mine, I know I'm doing God's work. No, but that's the truth.
It's the truth. It's true.
I'm doing God's work on stage and off stage.
Yeah.
My content has always been consistently the same, and most importantly, I know that everything I'm singing is my reality.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad you touched on it, because even among us, as much as we're sisters, we're very different in the style of reggae we do, and especially how we dress. So there were times at first when I'd be like, oh, maybe I should wear trousers today, and I'm like, no, like that's not you. Like there's no point trying to fit into
changing ourselves.
It's not a uniform. That's it's not a uniform.
Exactly.
So I'm not gonna put on a costume.
To be in a reggae, I just want to interject. To be a reggae artist does not mean that you see Stushie as God either. It doesn't. It's part of the roots of it, but you can still promote consciousness and sing reggae music
in different ways.
And not. People have to see you as a Rasta, if that makes sense.
Which is contradictory, because I am from a Rasta.
No, but then I'd like to ask, what is a traditional reggae artist look like then? Because
a man.
me on the female side of it. On the female side of it, because there's such a vast range of female reggae artists, and they don't all dress the same way. They all dress different. So
it was your show actually. I went to your show with Dion Reid, another example of sisterhood that I love, and he was opening for Janine.
Yeah.
And Janine is someone who I love so much because I love her music, but she don't need to speak. You just hear her when she just stepped in the place. She met them sit down sometimes. And she said something, because I went there and I was very conscious that everyone in the audience, as always, kind of traditional head wrap and you understand, and I was there in my high heel and my short dress and my leather jacket, and Janine she said something along the lines of not to look at women who dress differently to traditional Rasta women any different, because whether their journey is the same or is different, how you dress, basically I'm just reiterating what I was saying earlier, and that for me kind of again reassured me within myself, because sometimes you have the reassurance that you give yourself, but when you hear it from someone that you look up to in that space, it's kind of like, do you know what, maybe I'm doing the right thing. Because I'll wear my tight dress and just put African print over it.
But for me, how we dress does not define our music. It does not define the meditation of our music and the words that we put out there and the power that we put out there. It doesn't define that. Again, it's people trying to put their own twist on it and put you in a box. And
like I understand it to a certain extent. Like I'm not gonna go to a show and have brassiere and riders. I'm not gonna do that. But that's just me as a person.
Yeah. And you know, like for example, bringing it back to Rasta, if you're going to a Naivingi session and you need
then you
to
know
wear,
the appropriate.
You know,
you know how you need to dress.
Exactly. So there's.
But that's the difference of the faith and you as an artist.
Yeah. Exactly.
My whole household has brought up in Rastafari to the brink of it, but to the naked eye you wouldn't assume that. But me as an artist, Stushie is not the daughter of a Rasta man. Stushie is herself in her own right, so whatever that looks like is how I'm going to portray myself. But also your target audience, for me, I want to be able to show young girls that You can have the weeds and the high school, you can do Reggae Sunfest, you can win Miss Reggae Gold, you can do this, you can do this, you can do that. Because we need to show them that, because a lot of them, the reality is, especially over here, a lot of them don't resonate with the traditional Rasta woman and how they dress or how they speak or how they carry themselves. The younger generation that look up to maybe the Cardi B's and the Nicki Minaj and that kind of thing. And we need that because as women, we have to be in our sexuality and in our femininity. Yeah, I said it right. But we have to be trying to compromise because there's a lot of examples of how to do women one way, but we need to also push how to do women another way because women are not just one. It's not
dimensional. We're not one dimensional.
Just one dimensional. So
I think it's important to like you said, to just have different examples of how you want to express your femininity. It's so important. Like I wouldn't say that I had lots of different examples of that. So just balancing all of those aspects of yourself, I think is key.
What would you say to either your younger self, maybe we're going to say the 16-year-old version of you?
Don't do it.
Yes. What would be your words of wisdom and encouragement for them?
Oh, that's a good question. That is a good question.
Oh God.
What would I say to my 16-year-old self? You're going to be good, you know? Like, there's going to be some stuff that happens to you and things that you'll experience, but keep writing, keep journaling and keep witnessing yourself in what you're experiencing, and you are going to change. Change is the thing in life that is constant, so don't hold on to this idea of what you think you are. Like, you're going to be good, and
I think maybe one of the first things I would say to my younger self is get rid of fear, because fear is what will stop you from, you know, taking those steps, missing opportunities that were there. Stay grounded, continue to stay grounded, because, you know, being humble, I think, has got me a long way. And I say that I was humble before, but again, circumstances have made me more humble, a lot more humbler. With growth, with every experience, it's going to strengthen you.
I don't know. Like, I want to say an answer just for the sake of. I was just going to say that. I want to say something for the purpose of the where we are and the conversation. But in all honesty, and part of me being transparent in this is that I do feel like I'm back at my 16-year-old self. I feel like right now in my journey, I would probably be the one on the receiving end of the advice on what to do going forward, to be honest. So I know where I am, but it's kind of at a stage, I guess a crossroad. Do I want to continue? Do I love the craft? Am I going to? I think that's where I am. So for the purpose of the question, listen. Whether that's to other people, to yourself, to God, I guess just listen. And I guess just for the sake of answering, because I don't want to leave it as a 2 out of 3.
No, that's a good answer.
And you literally just spoke to yourself.
Yeah, that's true, because the younger us, did we really listen at the time?
Maybe we listened too much or not enough.
I think I listened to other people way too much.
And then what it is again, I keep saying it's not the messenger, it's the message. You know, sometimes we're too busy looking at the messenger. Again, back to how we're dressed. Too busy looking at the messenger.
And the song on her album, Messenger, download it. Sorry.
And I got a song called Listen. Soon to come out. Yeah, so, you know.
Yeah.
But, not long ago, I went through a situation, me and my family. And if it wasn't for my music, I don't think I'd be here today. I think my own songs, I had to sit back and really listen to my own lyrics more than anybody else's. My own lyrics were the actual things that empowered me even more. It's like I had pre-told my story before it even happened.
That's why you know it's from God.
Yeah.
It's true. Have you ever had an experience, and then you go back to your songs and you're thinking, rotted, I kind of like
I made that happen.
Either protected myself, there's 2 of my songs that I have, and then I've gone through some things in life and I'm thinking, if I didn't release them songs, I would, it's like you're protecting yourself. You know, they say power of the tongue. Because
yeah.
at the time, I was thinking, why am I writing this? It doesn't make sense to me. Wow. I didn't know that I was actually gearing myself up. Do you understand? It's
what's to come.
It's crazy. It's actually crazy, but that's deep. That it's in essence saved your life to a certain extent.
Yeah, and it empowered me a lot more, because again, within that time, my music took me to Africa, and I mean, I was homeless. I lost my home, so I had nothing, and to be able to go to Africa with my music, have my face on a flyer with one of the biggest reggae artists I weigh, was the biggest inspiration for me, and that made me realise God had a bigger plan for me. He took that house away from me for a reason. There was something else I had to go through, and something I had to learn. And I think I wrote beautiful songs before that time, but I think my best work has now been what I've written within that time, because of how I was treated by people that I loved. You know, it was just so many different experiences I went through, but going to Africa because of my music empowered me in a different way that I can't even explain. I mean, Gambia is a beautiful, beautiful,
one of the most beautiful places.
Yeah. And part of that journey, I made it a point of walking with the lions, and I'm glad I took that journey. I'm glad, because every time I feel low in myself, or I feel weak in myself, or I feel to give up, I look back at that picture and remember, you had a strength. You're not scared. You think you're scared.
That's true.
You're not scared. For you to stand there next to lions that could have just turned around and yam you. Yam you. Exactly. And that's the other reflection of it.
Yeah.
The industry itself.
Sometimes you're walking with lions in the industry the same way.
But you are a lion.
We're the lions, but we're around the sharks and the piranhas and all of that. And we got to stand firm and strong in this.
Yeah.
And that journey taught me that.
Ladies, what has been your favourite part of your journey? The fact you're quiet, that means you had a lot of different ones. That's good. It's a good thing.
I got too many.
Pick one that, in the moment I asked that question, what was the first thing you thought of?
For me would be a cliche one, but the reason behind it isn't so cliche. So the memory for me is Reggae Sumfest. I guess the cliche part is being one of, if not the first UK artist to be on the main stage on Reggae Night with names that I grew up listening to. The experience itself was so dope, because I went out there by myself for 3 months. I'm not of Jamaican descent, so I didn't know anyone out there. And I kind of just thought I'd probably just get a regular taxi to Catherine Moore on the day, and they'll ask me who the hell I am, and I'll perform and go home. No, they treat me just like everybody else. Star treatment is beautiful, but I think what made it my favourite is that it was my end goal when I first started was to perform at Reggae Sumfest, and I got to do it, but most importantly I think the timing. My dad got to see me perform in Reggae Sumfest, which was a dream. I'm not going to go too much into it, but he did transition the following year, so I think that signifies so much, because it was my end goal, and I'm sure it worked out to be one of his. So definitely Sumfest, I would say, is top of my list.
I think I kind of touched on it just now. Africa was part of that, so I think last year I've always wanted to do a festival, and I got the opportunity to do the West Indian Cultural Festival last year in where was it? Crystal Palace. Yeah, and I think that was a big thing for me, because that was the start of a next phase in my journey, and that's what it is, another door opening.
And it's in a palace.
Yeah.
Watch Empress.
Yeah. Listen, behave yourself.
And Crystal Palace was like one of the last places that Bob Marley performed.
I didn't know that, you know.
Is it?
I didn't know that. I learned something today.
See, so yeah, that's even more empowering than that now. Yeah.
There's so many memories to celebrate, but I guess I will go for the recent one, and the one that took the most work, and that was completing my EP. It's been the launch night of like singing with the Idol band and performing a whole show that we just put on ourselves to an audience that everyone just came out to see me. Like, it was crazy. And yeah, songs that have written me for like the past 4 years on my journey, being able to sing it and then having people sing it back to me, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. that's the bit. When people sing back your songs, yeah, that's the bit.
I'm so glad that these words have been able to heal you as much as they've healed me. So yeah, that's probably one of my highlights. Yeah, that was last year.
And lastly, ladies, what can we expect from you for 2022?
I want to go on tour, so if anyone wants to book me,
we're putting it in the universe.
We're all putting it in the universe.
Teshay on tour.
All of us on tour. We all need to go on tour.
Yeah.
I think that's where it's at. I think that's the next phase for us, because I think England's heard so much of us. I think it's now time for the world to hear us.
So tour.
Tour. I say tour, but again, I've got
you want an international tour for
yeah. That's where I'm at. International. Yeah.
Like I said, I'm kind of, to be honest, on the crossroad. I'm still on the crossroads. I think this year will be the decision year. If I continue as an artist, musician, or if I'm still around, but more so as a cheerleader. So I think for me, I have to kind of go back to where I started and make a very, very big decision, because it's not easy, okay?
Yeah.
So I think for me, go back to when I first started, see if I feel the same, and see if it continues for me as a musician, I guess. I think that's the year for me.
Can I say something to you, sis?
Off camera.
No matter what, whatever happens, you're always a singer.
Yeah.
So
that will never change.
That's who you are.
And it's Valentine's Day.
Thank you so much, ladies, for coming out and speaking with us today. I think whoever didn't already know, they now know you. And I'm hoping that they can take this conversation and apply it to their own lives.
Yeah.
Especially the women watching this. I want them to be able to see that they can walk in their truth, no matter what industry or what they're doing with their life. And I'm hoping your words have resonated with them as much as it's resonated with me. Thank you so much, ladies, and I wish you all the best going forward.